Welcome back, everyone. I hope you're having a good day today. We're going to be in Life of Fred, Australia. If you have an Australia book, go ahead and get your book out now. Remember, you can press pause at any time during this video. Today, we're going to be on page 109, chapter 17, and the title is Sydney. Fred was now in the southern hemisphere. It didn't feel much different than being in Kansas. No matter where you stand on the earth, it feels the same. If you drop a ball, it will fall toward your feet. The Sydney airport was much smaller than the Los Angeles International Airport. Fred spotted a large sign that told him that his flight to Wagga Wagga would be leaving in an hour. He sat down in the boarding area and waited for the announcement that it was time to board the plane. Normally, Fred would have pulled out one of the books that carried and spent the hour reading. But everything he had brought had gone with George on Old Smoker back to the repair shop and then had been mailed back to Fred's office. All he had with him was $7. Fred thought to himself, "I'm waiting for Wagga Wagga." He played with the words, "While we wait for Wagga Wagga," "A winter wait in Wagga Wagga," "Wind-whipped whistles in Wagga Wagga." Fred was playing with alliteration, using the same sound at the beginning of the words. Poets and advertisers often use alliteration. Poetry, rock-a-bye baby. In a treetop, when the wind blows, the cradle will rock. When the bough breaks, the cradle will fall, and down will come baby, cradle and all. Advertising, mealtime magic with milk. Fred went a little alliteration crazy as he thought, even without a watch, I will not cause the Wagga Wagga men and women to wait for me. Wow! It's just June 3rd. I'm due the day after today. Fred saw a sign which said, the time is 2:40 p.m. Then the sign changed. Today is June 4th. Fred rubbed his eyes. I'm due at the Board of Missions office in Wagga Wagga on June 4th, he thought to himself. I left Los Angeles on June 2nd. Flying across the Pacific Ocean doesn't take 2 days. It's got to be June 3rd. It is in Los Angeles. It is June 4th in Sydney. This is not easy to explain. In this footnote is a super quick explanation. First, there are time zones around the world. If it is 2:40 p.m. where you are right now, then it is now 1:40 p.m. for someone who is roughly 700 to 1,000 miles to the west of you. It is 3:40 p.m. for someone who is roughly 700 or 1,000 miles to the east of you. There are 24 time zones around the world. There are pictures and more explanations of time zones in Chapter 3 of Life of Fred Honey. Second, there is the international date line out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. When you cross it heading west, you suddenly advance a day on the calendar. In the middle of Fred's flight, when he was asleep, June 3rd suddenly became June 4th. Fred pulled Jennifer's letter out of his pocket and read the last paragraph. If interested, please let us know and report to our office in Wagga Wagga on June 4th. Fred thought to himself, it's 2:40 right now. The plane to Wagga Wagga will be leaving in an hour. That's 3:40. It's going to be after 4 o'clock when we get to Wagga Wagga. And then I have to find the Board of Missions office before it closes. Fred was in a panic. Will I lose my math teaching job if I show up late? Will they give the job to someone else? How late does the office stay open? The time from 2:40 to 3:40 went by very slowly. The sign on the wall said the time is 3:40 p.m. That was the longest hour of Fred's life. At 3:44, boarding of the plane began. An extra 4 minutes, Fred thought. He didn't realize that planes, trains, and buses often run late. Okay, are you ready for your turn to play? Go ahead and grab a sheet of paper and a pencil. Remember, you can press pause at any time. Let's begin. Number 1. In Chapter 4, we learned 4 different ways to make plurals. 1. Add an S. 2. F becomes VES. 3. Crazy changes. 4. No change. If you look at the sentences just before this your turn to play, find a 5th way to make plurals. Number 2. Circle alliteration in this famous poem. Little boy blue, come blow your horn. The sheep's in the meadow, the cow's in the corn. Okay, here are your answers. Go ahead and check your work. Now, are you ready for today's homeschooling meme? Here you go. I hope you enjoyed that one. Join me here tomorrow for Chapter 18. Bye for now. 2 uses of the apostrophe. 1. To show ownership. Joe's jelly beans. Fred's doll. The sheep's hat. 2. To indicate something is left out. The cow's in the corn. The cow is in the corn. He can't. He cannot. There are 5 ways we have learned to make things plural. None of those ways uses an apostrophe.